Tommy, we're live, buddy.
All right, here we go. Show number 91, but who's counting?
Me.
I want to start off real quick with something. My wife's been she works really hard as a nurse, and with all the stuff with COVID going on and everything, she's been taking some tax classes, really working hard since September, and she passed last night.
Oh, thank
She
God.
did a great job. So kudos, honey, proud of you. She loves me, but she doesn't like me, but whatever. That's a story for another show.
And it's exactly mine. My 36 years, my wife loves me, but really hates me.
Yeah.
Doesn't like me.
Anyways.
Yeah, let's talk Bills. This was obviously one of the worst pacings, especially at home, the Bills have endured. Definitely under McDermott and Bean, but in a long, long time as far as a meaningful game.
Unexpected by me, for sure.
Yeah, if you go back to last week, I said I didn't like the matchup, and boy, did that come true. Without Latule, and don't get me started on this unvax crap, we were hurting. Couple of important things. You got a dreary, drizzly game, and everybody predicted that the rain and the wind was going to start in the second half. I was stunned that we won the opening kick. We won the coin flip. Decided to defer, given that. That's not why we lost the game, but there were some decisions made. I think that we really didn't use the facts in front of us.
So you're thinking the Bills, not only with analytics, should maybe go into more meteorologists?
I think so. Just my girl Elise Smith, she can tell them what's going on. But no. Anyway, that was a little thing. The other thing is I didn't like the matchup, and it came true. On the running game, the defensive line. You're losing Tremaine Edmonds. In this town, everybody seems to say he's not good enough. You don't like him, but you could see the difference there. Number one, I'm not going to throw Klein under the bus either, because having watched the replays, our defensive line, especially the defensive tackles, got thrown around like rag dolls. Vernon Butler is a complete bum. He can't play anymore. He's a holdover. We got him in here a little bit from Carolina and help us out, but it's done with him. He'll go after this year. The Justin Zimmer ACL hurt.
Yeah.
Because that kid's a scrapper, and he can do the pass rush going upfield. He can also clog the middle. Then we find out from listening to Indianapolis after the game that they really just let Eddie Oliver go upfield and then trap block him. So they watched our tapes, as everyone does this time of year, and Oliver, his big thing was doing what he does, and he did it, and then they just come over and trap block him, and there was a huge hole.
Well, the Bills spent the offseason improving their pass rush, getting the tall guys and get those passing lanes, and that's something in today's offenses that are important to do, and counted on Star Latulele. This guy was having an outstanding season. He takes up two or three guys in the middle. That you can't just lose that.
No.
And now you could say one guy out, blah blah blah. But the truth is, he's been out for 2 games now.
2 games.
And teams
and maybe a third Thursday.
Backups are backups for a reason. We don't have that kind of depth. I don't think a lot of teams do.
Yeah.
Yes, it could have been a knee, an ankle, whatever, but it was something that maybe could have been prevented. That's what makes it kind of hurt. He helps us fight that run game. He's part of our puzzle piece there.
Correct.
And it's a big loss. And Tremaine Edmonds, that's a huge loss, guys. He's a tackling machine for this football team. Yes, A.J. Klein had an okay game, but he's not Tremaine Edmonds.
Well, and so put it all together. So A.J. Klein goes in there. He's got guards and centers at his legs because nobody's stopping the defense.
Right.
Defensive tackles were like revolving. Zimmer was a big piece. What a find that kid was.
And that's a hell of an offensive line over there that they've built.
They're
Kudos
very
to
good.
them.
They're very good.
And the Bills got into a situation where we were playing their game. We were playing their game instead of playing ours. Now, Eddie Oliver comes up with a great sack with that penetration, but we take a holding call.
Defense.
And we did. And then stupidity plays a part. Mario Addison with a really bad play there. Yeah. These are veterans.
Addison missed the sack on 3rd and 8, and then they got the first.
Yeah, there's a play. You take a guy's knees out 7 seconds late.
Yeah.
Now's a chance to light a guy up, and you miss on a very immobile quarterback.
Exactly.
The play there with 19, Oh my God, Isaiah McKenzie,
Yeah.
falling and fumbling, a freak, stupid play, but now you give him basically a touchdown.
Well,
And-
you and I talked about it. I think that play is the turning point of the game. We're down 10. However, 2-minute warning, 3 timeouts. How we've seen us go down the field, at least
Yeah.
get 3. Then we get second half kickoff. Instead, it's 24-7.
Right.
Game over. In my
Yeah.
mind, game over.
Yeah, you gotta. The Bills have got to do a better job protecting the football, plain and simple. We said it last week, say it again. Schemes and shit don't win. Players win.
Players win.
Josh made some mistakes with the ball, no doubt about it. We had fumbles. We had missed blocks. Stupid penalties.
Well, look at that. Look at that interception on our first drive. So we get down to the 20-yard line. We get a false start on Ford. Then we get a holding on the center,
Mitch
Morse. Next thing you know, it's 3rd and 18. He throws up a prayer that gets picked. The safety's waiting on it.
Right.
That kills you. That absolutely kills you. Those damn penalties got to stop.
Now, and some of them, we can all say, well, that's ticky-tacky. No, the bottom line is, Jordan Poyer, a veteran player, he runs the guy out of bounds. You're giving these guys an excuse to flag you.
You are.
Right? Stay away from that.
You
When the
absolutely
play was there to be made, nobody's running anybody anywhere.
Nobody made it.
Having said all of that, guys, before we start committing suicide and jumping off, it's not going to be an easy season. We knew that. I didn't see us getting punched in the face like we did Sunday, but it happened. And of course, I'm wearing nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Like the Buffalo.
Hopefully that holds true. Kansas City struggled earlier in the season. They seem to be righting the ship. We've got to righten the ship. I'd like to see the Bills go back to the Jets' approach with the fullback.
Mm-hmm.
And like we said last week, let's hit them with a couple. Run behind your line at their strength, not the way
Well,
we're.
didn't we have 9 runs for 93 yards?
Yeah.
I mean, we just don't do it. Now, granted, with 2 minutes to go in the first half, it's 24-7. So I
Right.
get that.
Yeah, we're not playing our game anymore. Exactly.
We're not playing our game. The one thing too, I thought
And-
it was go ahead.
Be careful here, guys. Wentz, I think, was like at one point 10 completions for 40 yards.
Mhm.
Teams are going to do this stinking donk. We got to get out of that. We've got to score points on to get them out of that because New England's going to throw you a
They're
whole
gonna
lot
do-
of that.
They're going to get a
Not
whole
that we
lot.
want to talk about them yet.
And seriously, what happened there is you get 2 rushes and you're ending up 3rd and 3, and then he throws a 4-yard pass.
Right.
And that happened all day. He got 10 completions total for 105 yards.
And it's very, very hard to guard somebody in this league.
Yeah.
And remember, for all these fantasies and guys out there, run. When the Bills get into the offseason, and we'll just jump ahead for a second here, and draft O-linemen and maybe a bigger, faster running back, you're going to have everybody bemoaning, why didn't we take another receiver?
It's not
3
fantasy
things
football.
happen when you throw the football. 2 are still bad.
Yeah.
Right? I know it's today's game and all that, but still, you got to run the damn football. It opens up everything.
Everything.
Okay?
It really does.
Doesn't mean you have to dedicate a guy to it the whole game, but doggone it. And to do it with one guy instead of a committee, it's a lot better. It's for disguise purposes and such. You're not predictable.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. And speaking of that, I think you got to look at Breida now. I think I've looked at the averages for Moss the last 6 games, 2.3 yards a carry.
Well, behind our type of line and their
Yeah.
strengths, and we were before the game or the show in our meetings, we looked at stats. When the Bills pass block out of a certain formation, what do you call it with the fullback? They run their line runs much. It opens up a better ground game.
It's the running out of 10.
And I think with Zach Moss right now, he might be falling into that secondary thing where we're like 26th in the league, running out of like a spread offense or whatever.
They need to fix that, and I think we need to go back under center and play that game. But I will say that I think Breida's got to get a chance this week.
No doubt.
To touch
Speed.
this ball, not when the game's
Speed
over.
kills. And Josh has to calm down a little bit and take what's given to him.
Yeah.
And he tried a couple times to make big plays. And I'm sorry, if it was that easy to just put a guy on your best receiver and he's out, it would be happening every week.
Every week.
Diggs is open. Find him. Get him more involved. Hey.
So there's a lot of pieces going on here. So the bottom line, what you could tell last week is they bold rush the center. Okay? So Josh goes back in the pocket. The 2 guards in the center were getting manhandled, and they collapse the pocket. They've seen Josh roll right.
Right.
Okay? The whole world's afraid of that.
Right.
So they kept him in the pocket, and when your centers and your guards and your center can't withhold, now it's forcing Josh into making plays ahead of time, throwing high, getting picked. That's number one. I think they need to protect this kid more. They don't. There's no silver bullet. There's nobody left.
Yeah.
You can go. I mean, Bobby Hart. Now, the thing that makes me wonder again about this.
He was injured, by the way, in a hotel. He got in one of those revolving doors, I think, at the Millennium.
Yeah, and he hurt his hand.
Yeah.
But Bobby Hart played 3 games for the Titans. They won all 3. Bobby Hart's a terrible, terrible tackle. I'm starting to wonder if, again, I said it. This will be the second time. We got to look at our offensive line coach, and I'll be honest with you. I predict that at the end of the year that O-line coach will be gone.
That probably is true. And what do we do in the short term? Play our game and not play their game. If you're going to play their game, we're not built for their game. We're built for our game.
Yeah.
Get a lead, be productive, hold on to the damn ball, protect it, and help your line out. And not instead of falling behind where you have to get into passing situations and the old pin your ears back, which never seems to happen when we can pin our ears back, but whatever.
Yeah. I guess
remember. Back in the 70s, the Bills were rolling along. They had a pretty solid team.
Uh-huh.
They had a tough loss. And you'll remember this. Team came back by train over there at Dick Road there. And running back named Billy Joe got off the plane and he said, Buffalo, we're still talking proud.
We still talking proud. That was Joe Cribbs. But Buffalo, we still talking
Billy
proud.
Joe?
No. It was Joe Cribbs because it was Buffalo's got spirit, talking proud. So we got crushed. And Joe Cribbs went, Buffalo,
I thought it was Billy Joe. I thought it was Billy Joe. You sure Billy Joe? I thought it was Billy Joe.
Yeah.
Remember the Wacky Weenie from Bells?
Yeah,
was that Billy Joe?
Yeah, he was in the 60s. Why don't you wake up? So anyway, going back to a couple things. Some in-depth analysis showed that all I heard the last couple weeks is, will you give it up? All I heard the last couple of days was, oh my God, all these guys, this Basham, why do we take him? Why do we take Rousseau? Why do we take Epinesa? A very detailed analysis showed that the guys who did nothing and got blown up on the defensive line on Sunday were the veterans. Addison, okay? Jerry Hughes. And that bum I said before, Butler. Those are the guys that got blown up. The guys that were maintaining their blocks and putting hands on people were the kids. So I think there's a bright future there. And Rousseau, by the way, is not just a long arm pass rusher.
No.
He can play the run.
No.
And Boogie Basham was stuffing some holes. So, again, this week was awful. I wanted to go home.
Top to bottom, coaching staff included, right?
Just some bad moves. Isaiah McKenzie, that game was over as soon as he dropped the ball, put it on the turf. I know people were yelling. He was down because the turf can't cause a fumble.
Nobody touched
it can if you weren't touched.
touched.
So it was just a pitiful game, and the Bills were 7-point favorites. I didn't like it last week. I didn't like the matchup. I didn't think we'd lose.
Let's face it, we
points.
don't seem to do well against teams that can really pound the football at us.
That's correct.
And right now, the only thing we can do about that, although we should have won the first match with Tennessee.
Yeah.
That game we should have won.
No kidding.
We have to do a better job offensively. It still comes down to that.
It does. Now, I've got some interesting points. Looked a lot at some really in-depth analytics. Some of this, I can't get into all of it because it would bore you to tears. But here's the bottom line. Everybody thinks Josh isn't throwing long because of the cover 2 this year. Josh Allen's statistics throwing long are better this year than last year. I know it's unbelievable. I don't have them in front of me, but they're better this year, okay? Our running game is better this year, all right? There's a lot of things going well, but let's talk about one bottom line thing. When the shit hits the fan, whether it's a turnover, we are horrific on 4th downs, where last year we were 8 of 10.
Right.
We are 1-3 in games less than 7 points. We were 4-1 last year. Turn around two of those games, right? We're 8-2.
Right.
We're talking Super Bowl again. So the bottom line is we haven't been disciplined enough to win those close games. And again, back to Jacksonville, that was a complete sin to lose a game to that crappy football team.
Doubt about it. No doubt about it.
And that was a 3-point loss. And the loss to Tennessee, I like the call. We slip, Guy gets
Right.
blown up, the left tackle, and we're down. It's just we're not making the plays when we need to make them, and getting off the field. So think about the Indy game. We were, we had a lot of third downs. We had a lot of chances to get off the field. He only threw 21 times, completed 10, but every damn one of those were a 5-yard on a 3rd and 4,
Right.
a 4-yard on a 3rd and 3, or we grabbed somebody, or hit him.
And that comes, the only way to beat against that is have our offense do stuff and get points where they have to throw the ball deeper. And if they want to run, let them run then.
Right, and to that point, they were 75% on third downs. We were 38%.
They also,
Usually that's reversed.
and they also set themselves up in better, make more manageable third downs.
1,
and
2,
you say,
3
what
yards.
happened? Well, because when you get a 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 with a running team,
Yeah.
that slight play action pass freezes everybody.
Everybody. They just
And
don't
it
make
makes a huge difference, guys. And bottom line, in a simple form, hold on to the football, protect the football, right?
Right.
Got to do that, and let's get out of these stupid penalties.
You listen. All kidding aside, we can analyze till the cows come home. 4 turnovers, stupid penalties, absolutely annihilated us.
Right,
In the previous games, stupid penalties.
right.
It's got to stop. We got to stop the 15-yarders.
And
Got to
it's,
stop.
and it's not one particular guy.
No.
It seems to come from different people. I personally think league-wide, take that taunting thing
Yeah.
and do that inter-office memo and hit people in their pocketbooks. It's not fair to the team, and it's also a judgment call.
Yep.
And-
So if it's a big judgment call, fine the guy $15,000. Let the
Fine,
player,
whatever the hell, right?
whatever. And for us people sitting in the stands working, whatever it is, and it's 40 degrees and rain. I don't want to see yellow every
Right.
play. I just don't want to see
No,
it.
it's ridiculous. And you'll hear us say some of the calls were horrible. Most of the calls in the Indy game were pretty damn deserved.
They were deserved. I'm
I was
sorry.
a little miffed at no holding calls, though. Ed Oliver's jersey was ripped. Now,
But by the
either
way, 100 or 200 and some yards rushing,
not a single.
not one holding rushing call.
I'm sorry, we got our ass kicked in the game, but
Yeah.
not a single holding call.
I'm not buying that. Not buying that.
Woohoo!
Jamona.
All right.
So that's the Bills. Oh, I do want to say, going back quickly. So we got Thursday, Turkey Day against New Orleans. We've been instilled as 4-point favorites. I think that tells you that Vegas, the people that run the model, say the Bills are going to come back hard. And I think they will.
I
really
do too.
And I hope to hell. Kamara's been out the last 2 weeks. He better be out Thursday.
Well, let's hope that we get. I don't know what the injuries are. Who knows? But I
did
49
hear-
seems to be okay.
It looks like Edmonds may be playing. They won't answer about Latuile or Brown because he's calling it, because of COVID, I can't answer. That is not
Right.
true. He can say whether or not he thinks they'll be back, but
Right.
he didn't.
He's choosing not to,
He's
and that's
choosing not to.
that's for another day's reporting, right?
And quite frankly, who cares? Because I don't
Who
want
cares?
them to know anyway.
Right.
But anyway, that game, they got a backup quarterback. They've been struggling. Their D was number 2 in the league. They've dropped. They're giving up. They gave up 30 points to Philly.
And remember,
So
everybody,
we
too,
gotta-
I'm going to say it again. I was pretty damn disappointed Sunday, too, with the loss. But this is a very close league. It's refereed that way. And
How does
we're-
Tennessee at home lose to
Yeah.
Houston? Houston had like 170 yards. Tennessee had almost 400 and they lost.
we're not
Badly.
good enough to we're not good enough right now to win
No, we're not.
these close games with a lot of turnovers and dumb penalties.
And to the point, I walked out of that stadium the other day saying that we're just not good enough. And what does that mean? It means that the 3 guys we were missing were so critical, the backups weren't good enough. The next man up didn't work this time.
Right.
And again, it might have worked had we not had 4 turnovers
Right.
and 400 penalties.
Yeah, you can't. Teams are going to sustain injuries. Backups are backups for a reason. It's no knock on any of them. We're built on our starters. We also realize that guys are going to miss some time, right?
Right.
Thank God it hasn't been anything super long or out for the season, although Zimmer's a big loss there.
Yeah.
But you can't pile on them with the penalties and
Yeah.
illegal procedures.
And you know what? And I'm sorry, people will hate this. Get vaccinated. I think it's selfish at this point for those football players to basically say, "To hell with my team. To hell with this."
well, especially
this
when
year.
a guy opted out
for his
for protection of
family,
his family, and then you don't.
and then you don't get a vax once
You know what? The
available.
Bills, you are afforded one of the best medical staffs in the
Of any of
country.
us, yeah.
Talk to an expert. Don't listen to the news or the Democrats or the Nazi Party or whatever you're listening to. find a real medical professional and trust them, and then make your decision. Right?
So anyway, I happen to think we'll beat New Orleans.
I do too.
I had the bad feeling last week. Then a week from Monday, nearly 2 weeks from today.
We'll build for that.
Yeah, we'll have to build for that. I don't know personally if I sit out there in the cold on a Monday night and work that game, stand out there, and we lose to that son of a bitch Belichick. I don't know what I'll do. I might look for the nearest creek.
Well, I don't want to lose where we're getting the penalties and fumbles and stuff.
And they get nothing because they'll never commit a penalty. All right, so enough about football. We're disappointed. Sabres, we're just going to say one or two quick things.
My quick comment is this. If the players on this team, I think I said it last week too, the players on this team can't play for this coach and do what he's asking them to do, which is just play hard, hustle, don't worry about mistakes, try to improve them.
That was the Calgary game. I think that was an anomaly. We have scored in the last 5 games, 3 of those games we scored 4 goals and lost. That goaltending now is atrocious. I used to say sub 900, now it's sub 800 save percent.
It still was Calgary, but it was also the third period of the Ranger game.
Well, they did.
If you guys can't play that game, then you got to start thinking about life without the Blades. I had the book out, A Blind and the Sightless World.
Yeah.
I'm also writing a book now.
Life Without the Blades.
Life Without the Blades, and it'll be coming out soon.
Now, last night we lost. It was 5-4. We pulled our goalie. Hell of a hockey game.
Yep.
But we had a guy start, and it was our better goalie, Tokarski. 707 save percentage. End of story. Can't win.
To quote Coach Harvey Johnson, you got to get it done. More importantly, you got to get it done.
That was Lou Saban.
It was Saban?
Yeah.
Harvey Johnson.
No, your quotes are
all right. Well, whatever.
You're losing your mind. We're still talking crowd. So anyway, we're done with Sabres.
Anyways.
Whitey was like their trainer.
Okay.
And he had white hair like me.
Now we go to the the political situation here. A couple of things. The Rittenhouse verdict came out last week. By the way, in last week's show, we didn't realize, but for 90 minutes, if you don't think there's a God, all right, a couple of things happened recently. One, 90 minutes, we were governed by Kamala Harris last week.
That's right.
Thank God.
Well, Joe they were sticking a camera up his pooper.
And
I hear he enjoyed it, but go ahead.
So there is definitely a God there, but the Rittenhouse verdict came out, and it was the right verdict. The kid was defending himself. I don't know. The BLM and their new poster boy is a multiple child molester.
Yeah, that's good. Good for them.
Now, of course, we have the Christmas massacre.
Before we get to that, Rittenhouse, right? He goes on some news station. He talked more intelligently than almost anybody. He's 17 years old. Than anybody I've heard on any of those ridiculous news stations. And he went there, and he was helping people. He was nursing people that were trampled. He shouldn't have been there. My point is, if you watch the footage and you see the still shots frame by frame, they were just about to kill him with a handgun in a felon's hand.
Now, our speaker, Jane, I wouldn't with my blocky Saki, and you can put in your own rhyme there, said that what it shows is people at a peaceful protest can be gunned down. No, it doesn't. That city was burned to the ground.
Yeah.
Everybody was running around with weapons.
It'll never be the same.
Okay, it was lawlessness, and if you want to blame anybody, blame the leadership there, the Nazi leadership of this criminal first, victim last mentality of let them run wild and free, and.
You know what? Seriously, we said this about a year ago. Pick up a copy of Mein Kampf, written by the lunatic. Okay,
right.
Start looking at the mid to late 20s, what he did in Germany
with media
and with how he got people to go with the government and against other people. You watch this, and you're going to find out soon enough. This is the way to socialism, and maybe worse than socialism. Nazi and the SS.
I ran into a guy the other day.
That sounds like I'm a lunatic, by the way. But read those.
I ran into a guy the other day who said, "You really think that white kid should have got off? He gunned down 3 black people." I said, "Where have you been?"
No, he didn't. That's the point. You've got black people coming on saying this is racist. He shot white people.
They
Stop
said,
it.
Rosenbaum or whatever his name is said, "I'm going to cut your heart out, you little bligger."
Yeah.
Use the N-word.
Yeah.
It's proven. I mean, it's there. I'm not making
the racism the racists were the guys he shot.
Now I'm curious with the Christmas Day massacre, horrific, and
Oh my Lord!
where was Hawk Newsom, the squad, and some of our other leaders?
How about Reverend Al?
Do we ever? Yeah. Do we know that the race of the man that did this? Because it hasn't been said. We know who it is.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy was paroled on $500 after shooting at his nephew in February. Punched his baby mama, which is the mother of his child, in the face and ran her over with that same red vehicle a couple weeks ago. Was out in $1,000
bail
because you can't do too much. And now he does that. Drives over a barricade, crushes these people.
It's and the 4 of the 5 that are dead were called the Dancing Grandmas. They do this every year. They're anywhere from 65 to 80
parade.
Years old in a Christmas parade.
Ran him from behind.
They kill my grandmother. They better keep that son of a bitch anywhere away from that I can get close to.
And
him.
how he was caught, he parked his car and ran into a house where a guy had just returned home from hunting.
Too bad his firearm.
He
didn't
told
go
the
off.
guy he was a homeless person freezing from the parade or whatever. The guy offered him his house, gave him a jacket to keep warm, and fed him one of the sandwiches he had made while he was watching the game, probably the Packers game.
Yeah.
Was trying to call an Uber for this guy. All right.
Yeah.
Noticed cops going up and down the street, and his neighbor called and said, "Yo, do you know this and that?" And he said, "You better get out of the house." And as he is getting out, the police confront him and arrest him without incident. And now,
By the way, when he did get out of the house and they were ready, and he put his hands up, they didn't blow him away like everybody says happens all the time.
Hawk Newsom.
Quite frankly, I wish that the hunter would have just picked up his rifle and blown him away.
He should have if he had known. By the way, Hawk Newsom, the leader of BLM in New York City, said that police involved shootings in this and that. Well, in 2019, there was 200 police-involved shootings in New York City.
Right.
There was 13 last year. Police-involved shootings.
There were probably hundreds in the 90s.
The story isn't being told correctly. You're being lied to by the Nazi media.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And like I said, that guy had no idea what even had happened there.
Right.
I'd like to ask Whoopi Goldberg and somebody's Joy Reid from MSNBC and them,
I love her.
if Trump supporters were chasing a BLM guy,
Right.
the roles were reversed in Kenosha,
Right.
is that self-defense?
Oh, definitely.
Thank you.
Yeah. So it's
and by the way, here's one I got to get out there.
okay. Get it
The
up.
prosecutor in Milwaukee that started this whole mess going
Yeah.
is a disciple of who, Wayne?
George Soros.
You got it. George Soros.
Follow the money.
Follow the money. We have got to start hitting these people in their pocketbooks. Sue them. Don't support anything they're involved with. Hit them where it hurts the most, their pocketbooks. George Soros again. By the way, remember Black Friday? People get run over to get the 42-cent cake dish in the farming aisle.
Yeah.
This is now turned into everyday shopping in that city by the ship bay. All right? Nordstrom. They broke in, I don't know, 70, 80 people, beat the hell out of the staff and robbed. They did it again. They did it again last night in L.A.
And they just loot.
That could be my mom. My mom worked in one of those stores.
So
Your
did
mom
mine.
did. Our buddy Eddie's mom did. A lot of moms did and dads.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Complete lawlessness. Complete ridiculous lawlessness.
Gavin Newsom will let that shit go on. So it was a horrible decision on the Rittenhouse.
And quite frankly, here's the
Screw
bottom
his little
line.
boat too.
You kind of hit it with the Gavin Newsom. You kind of hit it with the Gavin Newsoms, and so I go back to that thing in Lewiston where that judge gave that rapist 4 rapes in his parents' house. By the way, it's a mansion, so there's some money back in there, a little bit of help there, and he gives him 8 years of parole. Do you know the United States of America is going crazy? They want him censured and removed from the bench, and I applaud that.
Me too. And by the way, gas prices going through the roof. Home heating oil is going to go through the roof. What does the Mein Kampf wannabe want to do? He let a day's worth of oil out of the reserves. Drill. Start drilling again. Become independent again.
Well, by the way, that'll do nothing. The gas prices won't go down, and we're just going to be out of reserves. When the Chinese come through the East Coast and march in, we won't even be able to fuel tanks.
He needs to learn from who he wants to be, Mein Kampf. That how did the Germans lose, really?
Yeah.
They ran out of fuel. That's what's going to happen to us.
He got way away from his base and went into Russia. Worst mistake that lunatic ever made.
That's right.
But anyway, so we've had a good show. I think it was.
Awesome show.
Let's we love ourselves.
Thanks for Thanksgiving coming up. I hope all you have an awesome Thanksgiving. Remember the old Thanksgiving Day football games and stuff?
Turkey Day games. Loved them.
Special Fridays after Thanksgiving is always the traditional put the lights up and stuff. buddy of mine in the old days. God, it had to be 80s, I think. Alexa, stop. That's our secretary. We did get partially a staff. A buddy of mine, we got out the box and we're putting up the Christmas lights, and his dad had it right down to a footing, a 3-step stake. So we're setting all the lights up, of course, having a couple of nummy chum
numbers.
And we got almost to the end, and we had realized that the plug was in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
But just so happened, a buddy of ours came by. He was working for Tony's Pizza at the time, the frozen pizzas. He had this frozen truck.
Yeah.
There was a plug on the top of his truck.
Yeah.
Got on the ladder, plugged in, the lights went on.
We
It's a
left.
thing of beauty. Tony Collins, the truck
pulled away.
The truck had to go, and we had a
But
mess.
we were done because we were left.
Great story on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun on Thanksgiving. Turkey Day games were the best, man. We froze our ass off. No
the
tackle
mud.
football, mud, dirt, snow.
it's the
I would
best.
drop a glove to show the line of scrimmage.
Remember the year the Bills kicked Detroit's ass on
We
on
kicked
TV,
their ass.
and Bubba Braxton was out hurt. I think he ate half the bird himself.
Yeah.
I got a lot of great memories. Bills have had some success on Thanksgiving. I think they'll have it again this year.
Yeah.
Everybody, remember,
Have a good
pick
one.
up your phone, call your Nazi leadership. That's the Demis. Tell them you don't want it anymore. You're fed up. You can't take it. Like that guy that opened up his, he threw open
You're not gonna go
the
to
trash, and he yelled, whatever he was, we can't take it anymore. Remember that guy?
Yeah, yeah.
The Christmas
No,
Eve, whatever
no,
he did.
Actually, it was they do it at Saber game.
And you got to say that to your Democratic people and tell them we're done with the 450,000 of the leagues. We're done. And if we're not going to enforce crime, then we all need to get involved.
Get armed and get ready. So are you?
When in Japan, put on a yokomona or whatever, like everybody
Yeah,
else.
you kind of lost your train of thought a little bit today. You're a little nuts. But
Well, whatever.
Billy Joel,
I'm telling you,
1966.
I
You
still
lost
say
your
it was
mind.
Billy Joe.
Anyway, no, you lost it. So anyway, have a great day.
He's
Next
right,
week,
it was Joe Craig.
next week we think we'll have Eddie on,
Westinghouse.
and we'll do some of our we'll do some trivia because it'll be the Bills won't play for 11 days
Right.
after this.
And we do have a remote show coming up that y'all might want to look into
The cabin?
when we go down to Varysburg. We're going to take a trip to Varysburg and do remote. We got an interesting guy that claims to have seen and communicated, although in a strange way, with
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot or Yeti.
All right, bye guys.
Talk to you soon. Have a tea day.
Any shout out?
To me!
Shanny, I know you're not having bird on Thursday. I know it's going to be some Irish corned beef shit. Bye.